habitat destruction on its breeding grounds, and also... So guys, I have mentioned obviously that Elmo is going to be taking part in this display, and throughout the display you may well see that he is a little bit cheeky. That's because he'll be doing something along the lines of this. And that means that anytime he does something that he thinks deserves a bit of praise, he wants you to do that too. So everybody give him a round of applause. Now, I was almost getting ahead of myself there a moment ago, but as I was saying, Elmo is, of course, a sea lion, and he is not a seal, not under any circumstances. Are you, Elmo? No, you are not. You're not a seal. You don't even like the thought of being called a seal. So what Elmo's going to do is he's going to show us some of the differences between seals at the side of Elmo's head just now. And you can see that he's got a little external ear, kind of like ours, only it faces backwards, so the water doesn't go in as he's diving. And that is very useful for a sea lion to have, but a seal doesn't have that. It just has a little hole with some fur over it. Not very impressive at all. And Elmo doesn't like that confusion because he's very proud of that little ear. He's also proud of what we're going to look at just now. And that is these very, very impressive large flippers that he's got just there. And if we have a look at the size of Elmo's flipper in comparison to Alex's hand, which is about the size of a seal flipper, you can see it's a lot bigger. Maybe 7 or 8 of them. So it's very impressive indeed, those flippers are, and Elmo's very proud of them because they help him with quite a few things. He can clap with them, as you've seen just a little bit earlier, but also, Alex is counting them up. 10 times. 7 times the size of a seal flipper. So they are very, he can push his entire body weight up on these flippers, meaning that he is really properly walking. Absolutely walking, the same as any land animal can do. He could even climb stairs. However, I don't think a seal could do this. But Elmo, do you think you know how a seal might walk? Yeah, have a bit of a think about it. You want to show us? Well that does look about right. I think that is it. Just pushing itself along on its big fat tummy like a slug. Not very impressive or elegant at all. So hopefully we won't make those mistakes again, because we don't like to be called a seal if we're a sea lion. So give a big round of applause for Elmo, guys. So now you may have noticed at those behaviours just there a white stick. And that white stick is a very important part. I can say the words, I know the words. A very important part of our training here at Blackpool Zoo. And that is our positive reinforcement training using this target stick. It's just a white stick with a red end on it. That red end could be any colour at all. Our guys are colour blind, meaning that they go to the dark end. And instead of maybe punishing them for something, we give them a treat instead. We don't punish them like Alex is showing just now. We don't strangle them. That doesn't happen. Definitely not. However, if you just have a look, she's not really punishing him. She can touch him anywhere with anything and he will do that. So don't you worry. However, that target stick is very important in this training. Like I was saying, the red end is very interesting to a sea lion, meaning that they put their nose to it. As soon as they do, they get the whistle blown, and also they're given a treat to tell them that they've done a good job, and then they are rewarded for it, meaning that Elmo can be brought to wherever he is throughout the enclosure, just like that. So wherever Alex happens to need him, he can be brought to. And this is very useful for things like health checks. We can have him lie down, have a look over that body, make sure everything's okay, because they're very, very playful animals, and they can get the odd bump and graze. So have a good look over, and we could even ask him to have a bit of a roll over. Now obviously in Elmo's case, this isn't necessary for ultrasounds, but it is very useful for ultrasounds checking, and also for other sorts of veterinary care. So it's a really good thing to have. So give a big round of applause for Elmo, for that demonstration of his health checks. Absolutely amazing, and everything seems to be looking pretty good with Elmo just there. Now I did mention that Elmo gets fish as his treat. And that's for a very good reason. That's because in the wild they are hunting fish. And here at Blackpool Zoo we don't use live fish, so we do have to stimulate their hunting behaviours in a few other ways. One of them is using these hoops just here. And I mentioned earlier about Elmo's size. He is much bigger than our other sea lions. That hoop in Alex's right hand, that is from our females. That's all the other sea lions use those. Elmo, he uses those big ones in our left hand, and we're going to see him just now catching those. So what he's doing to catch them, don't be embarrassed about them, Elmo. Yeah, there we go. He's proud of being the big boy. It's just male sea lions are much bigger, just if anybody's wondering. He's not fat or anything like that. So give him a big round of applause. He was embarrassed. Just give him a big round of applause for each one he catches, guys. And I think there should be 4. So this is the third one, and the last one, a bit of a spin on it, make it more difficult. Big round of applause there for Elmo. So what Elmo is using in that behaviour are his forward-facing eyes, which really help him accurately judge distance and depth. And also, he's using his very flexible neck to catch it. We're going to see that behaviour down in the water, because that's where this hunting behaviour is most useful. So you can see he can spot that hoop in the air, and he can make his way to it. Very accurately moving his way through the water, in fact. So that's all 4 of them. Big round of applause there for Elmo. And he's going to ask for it again, guys, when he gets up. So keep it going for him. Now that's all well and good when you can use your accurate eyes that Elmo does have. However, sometimes it's not always possible to see even what's right in front of you. Because you're in the water, it can be a bit murky, maybe it's even just a little bit deeper so the light's not going down there. And that's when you need to use your whiskers. And here at Blackpool Zoo, we can stimulate the use of those whiskers just like this. If you have a look at that ball balancing on Elmo's nose just like that, he's using each whisker on each... Oh! He dropped it. But he's using the whiskers on either side of his head to just make sure he can sense where it's going. He's got very delicate nerve endings on him, so he can feel exactly where it's falling and manipulate his neck so that he can make sure that it's going where he wants it to. He does keep his eyes on Alex, however, meaning that when she asks for it back, he can pass it back just like that. And he's very proud of the fact that he can pass that back. This is, of course, more useful down in the water, so once that ball hits the water, Elmo can sense those vibrations going through, meaning he knows exactly where it is. He can keep his eye on his stand because those whiskers are doing all the seeing for him, and he can make his way back up, again, keeping his eye on his trainer now, even maybe doing a front flipper stand to show the amazing upper body strength that he does have. But when Alex asks for it back, just like that, he can give it back. Give a big round of applause for Elmo. Now guys, in those behaviours, what we've been seeing is when Elmo is being a predator. Unfortunately, sometimes he can be prey to animals such as killer whales. Oh, we don't like the thoughts of killer whales, do we? No, we do not. Of course, there's another animal we don't like the thoughts of, but there's one thing we do like to do, and that is an impression of it. So Elmo's going to head down to the water, and he is going to show us an animal, and you guys are going to try and see if you can see what it is. You've got it? You all reckon it's a shark, yeah? Yeah? Okay, it is of course a shark. It could be a tiger shark, a bull shark, or a bull's rock, and you would... Oh, you'd hide yourself away. I think that's all very good. Very good. Amazing. Round of applause there from Elmo. And that would of course mean that any shark that happens to see him wouldn't get a bite of him, pretty much. So we don't have a shark in our pool here at Blackpool Zoo, nor do we ever intend on having one. And we can promise that, but there's one thing we can't always promise, and that's that there won't be litter in there. That's because there's sometimes have some very naughty seagulls that pick up litter and will drop it into our pools or anywhere around the zoo because they just don't care. And here we're going to have a look. Alex is going to play the part of one of those. First time again. Well done, Elmo. He's really getting the hang of this behaviour. Give him a big round of applause, guys. So hopefully you guys can take from that and obviously put your litter in the bin throughout the zoo. And if you see any in an animal enclosure, do tell a member of staff, because we take it quite seriously indeed. If an animal swallows it, it causes serious problems for their insides. So guys, do you all think that Alex and Elmo have done a good job today? Yeah! Well, I think so too. And that means that it is time for everybody's favourite part of the display, and that is a little bit of love between Sea Lion and Trainer. Alex does love a little bit of a kiss from Elmo, and so does Elmo. He is so proud of his trainer and so embarrassed about her. No, that's not right, Elmo. Come on, she's not so bad. Keep it cool. High five, maybe? Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, he doesn't mind giving a high five, but maybe he's also not too cool to blow kisses to our guests here, are you? Maybe you'll blow some kisses goodbye. Well, there you go, guys. Elmo will leave you, blow you some kisses, and hopefully you can give him one last round of applause and a big cheer, because he has done an amazing job today, and you have been a lovely audience for us. So do enjoy the rest of your day here at Blackpool Zoo. Thank you very much, everybody.